Hey everyone, Scott Colore here to take a look at some of the finer details from the Spider-Man Homecoming trailer. Let's start with Tom Holland's take on the Marvel character as he uses his new web wings to glide through the sky. This is a super fun element to finally get in live action, since the comic character has so often sported webbed underarms going back to his earliest days. But also the wings seem to point to an idea hinted at in the Captain America Civil War post-credits scene. That is, that his Tony Stark designed spider suit has lots of extra features and gadgets built into it. Another new aspect of the Stark suit is just below the spider symbol. It looks like the costume kinda loosens with the press of this button, which would definitely make it a lot easier to get in and out of the usually skin-tight unitard. And these mechanical dilating Spidey eyes are yet another trick of the suit. Those eyes were first glimpsed in Civil War, of course, and this costume does look like the same one from that movie. But it seems we'll also get the original homemade suit at some point in Homecoming. We can see it here. That was the pajamas look with goggles that Peter was very briefly seen wearing in the YouTube videos in Civil War. And here's the Iron Man himself, Tony Stark. We knew that Robert Downey Jr. would be appearing in Homecoming, but this trailer definitely makes it a point to remind us of that fact. Notice Peter's physics shirt. Basically, these two guys are science nerds, so it only makes sense that they would share a common bond beyond the superhero thing. Also, Tony still has a black eye here, so this scene probably happens right after all the fighting and drama of Civil War. It sounds like Peter misses his brief time playing with the Avengers. He's watching more YouTube videos of himself, this time from the battle in Civil War, but Iron Man wants him to take it slow with the whole super lifestyle. That includes forgetting about what he calls the flying monster guy, who of course is the Vulture, played by one-time Batman Michael Keaton. We get several good looks at the classic Spidey villain in this trailer. His artificial wings from the comics have been modified for the movie to appear more tech-based. You can see the engines on them right here, and a much wider wingspan than the Vulture usually has. For one thing, taking this approach differentiates the wings from that other flying MCU character, the Falcon. The Vulture dates way back to 1963's The Amazing Spider-Man #2. In the comics, he's usually a bald old guy, kinda like the supervillain version of Uncle Junior from The Sopranos. The helmet Keaton is wearing is not a typical look for the Vulture at all, but the bomber jacket with its fur collar definitely evokes the furred neckline of his comics counterpart. And it also means Keaton doesn't have to wear a green one-piece. Here the Vulture is wielding an energy weapon of some kind, which we think may be of Chitauri or alien origin. The Chitauri, of course, were the nasty critters who attacked New York with Loki in the first Avengers movie. And this purple beam, which Vulture's cutting a whole Staten Island ferry in half with, is similar to the one emitted by the fake Avengers weapon from early in the trailer. We'd heard rumors that the Vulture might be using alien tech in this film, and that's looking increasingly likely. Also, the robbers with the Avengers masks aren't just hilarious, they're also pulled directly from the comics. Here's another one of those weapons. That's Donald Glover on the left and Prometheus's Logan Marshall Green on the right. And while we still don't know who they're playing here, this looks kind of villainy to us. This brief pair of shots show Peter and Tony Stark at what is likely the new Avengers facility. There's Jon Favreau as Tony's bodyguard Happy Hogan in the background. He of course also directed Iron Man 1 and Iron Man 2. Obviously Peter is getting frustrated with the limitations Stark is putting on his web-spinning career. Could that be why he winds up back in his non-Stark costume eventually? Here Peter's on top of the Washington Monument. How and why Spidey finds himself in Washington DC instead of his usual New York City remains to be seen. Maybe Peter's class is on a field trip, because here's Laura Harrier as Liz Allen going through a metal detector, probably while Peter is swinging around up above her and the rest of his class. Liz Allen goes back at least as far as 1963 in the Spider-Man comics, where she was one of the popular girls in Peter Parker's school. This is her first live-action appearance, however. And yes, she's hanging up a homecoming sign here, so the film's title isn't just some kind of metaphor. We also meet some of Peter's other high school classmates. Zendaya plays Michelle, who we don't know much about at the moment, though some rumors have actually pegged her as being the new MJ. Oh, and notice the mural in the back of the hallway there. That's Tony Stark's dad Howard, included among other great scientific minds. Well deserved, I'd say. And there's Bruce Banner's photo up in the corner of Peter's classroom. Hey, he also deserves to be among those great scientific minds. Jacob Batalon plays Peter's best friend Ned. He may be Ned Leeds, though Marvel hasn't confirmed that yet. In the comics, Leeds was a Daily Bugle reporter who also became the Hobgoblin at one point. But here he's just a kid. He's definitely got aspects of Gain Key Lee, the Miles Morales Spider-Man's best friend and confidant from the old Ultimate Universe. Ned dropping this Death Star Lego set into 1,000 pieces. Oh man, ouch. Isn't too different from what Lee once did actually in the comics. Plus, it proves once again after Civil War's AT-AT joke that Star Wars does in fact exist in the MCU. This shot of Spidey holding the ferry together is very reminiscent of the great Spider-Man 2, when Tobey Maguire was spread pretty thin trying to keep a subway from crashing. And here we close things out with Spider-Man and Iron Man soaring through the skies of Queens. I believe the only word for this shot is amazing. For all of your Spider-Man Homecoming needs, keep it locked to IGN.